What is up, Poppy Nation? Poppy Liger back in the scene. And today, I want to talk about something that I've had in mind for the past year. Not for the past year. What the fuck? Why I think AEW Fight Forever. Fight Forever? What the fuck? Why I think AEW as a whole needs a brand split. Now, 2023 was a good year, at least the beginning of it. You know, he had Bryan Danielson versus MJF, which I personally like, mainly because of MJF's promo work on Bryan Danielson. CM Punk, what they did with Collision, at least for like 1 or 2 months anyway. MJF, Adam Cole was probably one of the best storylines that they had. But yeah, this is my reason as to if they want to have a good year in 2024. And then Tony Khan already has talked about how he wants a sports-like presentation. We saw that with the Continental Classic, and he's bringing back the ranking systems also back, which I think AEW really needs that. I think that's what attracts fans to the product anyway, because I think they're capable of doing things different than WWE, but if they just need I think Tony Khan just needs to stop focusing on what worked for WWE. For half a year, we were fantastic, but then the other half, it kind of just fell flat. You know, so if they want to have a good year, this is my thoughts. Again, I might be called Mark, or I might be called an idiot, whatever the fuck the IDC, whatever they call people nowadays. I don't care. I'm gonna put this video out. It's just my thought. It's not like it's gonna happen. Get over it. But this is my video, and this is my discussion, my thoughts as to why AEW needs a brand split. No hat this time, letting my hair out. So this is my number one reason as to why AEW needs a brand split. Again, in my opinion. But anywho, AEW needs a brand split, and why? There's just so much good talent to be wasted, you know? You know, you got the people, you know, you got your MJFs, you got your Kenny Omegas, you got your Young Bucks, you got your Darby Allins, you got your Orange Cassidys. You know, but what about your Pentagons? What about your Leo Rush's? You know? What about your Jay White, who's currently in one of the worst stables that, you know, just doesn't go with him, you know? You have so much talent, and it's for me personally, you kind of underutilizing them. So I think a brand split would work for them, and I would have AEW Dynamite.
So during recording, I forgot to play AEW Fight Forever, so I just gave up. Also, the game sucks. I'm sorry. Bro, you mean to tell me it's $30 now? I paid full price for
Dynamite be its own thing, and I would have AEW Collision be its own thing. Why? Because it would just work out better. I would have AEW Rampage be like a pre-show. Maybe do what they used to do back then with AEW Dark. I don't know if they still do AEW Dark nowadays. Have it just be something on YouTube, you know, because nowadays, who watches Rampage? Like, who is taking time out of the day to watch Rampage when they could be watching SmackDown, or they could be watching anything else other than, you know, Rampage? Like, Rampage used to be so good back then, and now it's just like, oh yeah, it's Rampage. I feel like Collision, even though people are somewhat uninterested by it now just because of CM Punk leaving, which, I mean, he's one of the GOATs, but it's not as bad as what people think it is, you know? I just think that they could utilize that show, whether still keep it on Saturday or, you know, here's my hot take. I would move it to Thursday, you know, have it be its own thing. And yeah, I would primarily focus on those 2 shows, Dynamite, Collision, and I would have Rampage be just an online YouTube thing, you know? Have them book or tape Rampage hour before Dynamite, you know? Post it, you know, on Thursday, and then have, I don't know, just, you know, things like that that'll make people be like, okay, you know what, I want to watch this show. You know, and have that be incorporated to the ranking systems, you know? Like, I feel like with 2 shows, and then have Rampage be a pre-show, or, you know, better yet, have it stick to YouTube like they used to do back then. I'm not sure why they wouldn't do it anymore. If someone wants to explain that in the chat with me, go ahead. I mean, I'm open to listen to it. You know, and I actually want to, before I get into the segment of who I would have for that roster, you know, I just want to say one thing. Ring of Honor, I would cancel out Ring of Honor. Or again, have it be taped 1 hour before Collision, you know, and have it be a pre-show to Collision, you know, because I feel like if they're not gonna, I mean, no one, to be honest, no one really is interested in Ring of Honor unless you're a really hardcore fan that's watched throughout the years. I acknowledge that and I respect that, but realistically, the casual audience isn't gonna look at Ring of Honor, excuse me, as something that they're gonna be like, you know what, I'm gonna go watch Ring of Honor. Granted, they have a lot of good talent, but you know, no one's gonna go out of their way to watch it, unfortunately. So I would either cut that out or just put it 1 hour before Collision. You know, set that trend, type of thing. Have it be like a main event, type of thing. But you know, it's AEW, it's not WWE, so I'm pretty sure Tony Khan knows what he's doing. Again, this is just my take, my idea. Well, anyway, let's get into my fantasy roster as if I were to make a brand split, you know, and how I would like tackle the ranking system. So, starting off with AEW, if they were to go with a brand split, this is just an idea. Here's if I were Tony Khan, I mean, with the hair, I guess I could look like him a little bit. Okay, my main eventers would be the following, using the current roster. This isn't using a fantasy roster. So, here's what my number one would be the champion, Samoa Joe, Swerve Strickland, Hangman Adam Page, Hook, Will Ospreay, MJF, Adam Cole once they're healed, and then Kenny Omega. If they want to like improve their rosters, I would have them do a brand split. Have Dynamite focus more on like the veterans of, you know, that company, and then have Collision have some veterans, but also focus more on like newer talent, newer hires, whatever. But anyway, moving to tag teams. Now, a lot of tag teams that they have, so we're gonna go into tag teams for Dynamite. So I would have Young Bucks, Undisputed Kingdom, Don Callis family. I would have Sting and Darby Allin, Best Friends, The Acclaimed, the Mogul Embassy, and then Dark Order. You know, because there's a bunch of tag teams. Just that alone, they're like people that have been in that company, tag teams that have, you know, because I feel like AEW had a better focus on tag teams back then compared to now, where it's kind of just everywhere. Again, might be wrong. But you know, just focus a lot on the veteran tag teams, and then have them have the spotlight for their show. Cause it's their show. They run things. They've been around for a long time, you know. So I would have them be there. Mid-carders, I would have Wardlow. I would have Roderick Strong, Konosuke Takeshita, Powerhouse Hobbs, Ricky Starks. Also forgot to mention Big Bill for my tag team division for Dynamite. Ricky Starks, Big Bill, Orange Cassidy, can't forget him. I think I already mentioned him. Mark Briscoe, Sammy Guevara, Brian Cage, Chris Jericho, even though I don't want him anymore. Evil Uno, John Silver. My women's division, I would have Toni Storm. I would have Deonna Purrazzo. I would have Dr. Britt Baker, Mariah May, who just joined, Jamie Hayter, Chris Statland, Ruby Soho, Nyla Rose, Hikaru Shida. You know, you see what I mean? Like, have that trend go for AEW Dynamite. Have them focus more on their veterans, their newer talent, the older talent that they have that's been around. You know, have that be the main focus, and have Collision, which I'll get into, build up on the future. You know, build up on people that haven't been, people that already been built up, but also have people that are just starting with AEW that haven't been there for too long. You know, and start building up those new talents. You know, because I feel like Tony Khan has the potential. You know, he just needs to book shit right. You can't just throw matches just to throw matches. Now moving on to AEW Collision. Now, who would my main eventers be? Be the following. Jon Moxley. You got Bryan Danielson. You got Eddie Kingston. You got Adam Copeland. You got Christian Cage. You know, Jay White. and Malachi Black. You want to have a nice balance of people that have been in the company since the start. You also want to have people that have just came into the company. And not only would rankings be easier, but it would be more easier to follow rather than just having this big old roster. You know what I mean? Now for my tag teams, Blackpool Combat Club, have them own all of Collision. Have them be the team, the stable that runs shit in that show. Bullet Club Gold, FTR, House of Black, Private Party, the Hardy Boys, the Lucha Brothers, Top Flight, Los Ingobernables, the Trio Rushanen, Jay Lethal Stable, Kill Switch and what's his name? I forgot his name. Give me a minute. Nick Wayne. I'll be honest with y'all, didn't remember him. I didn't remember him. Keep it buck with you. Out of my mid-carders, Daniel Garcia, Buddy Matthews, Brody King, Juice Robinson, Pentagon Jr., Ray Phoenix, Brian Keith, new signee, you know, Roosh, Jay Lethal, Wheeler Yuta, Claudio Castagnoli, Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy, Isaiah Cassidy, Pac, Action Andretti. You know, those are a lot of people that have been in the company for so long. And then you have the majority of them being like people that need to be pushed and need to have that screen time that'll benefit them more, you know? People that have the talent, that aren't showcased as much. You know, this is their brand. You know, this is their brand. How I would book them. You know, this show would focus more on that rather than the veterans. But anyway, moving on to the women's division. Sky Blue, Willow Nightingale, Rio, Emi Sakura, Thunder Rosa, Tay Mello, Abaddon, Julia Hart, Billy Starks, Dasha Gonzalez, you know, have that foundation of newer talent and focus on that for the whole entire show. You know, and then have each show have a ranking system. Now I'm not gonna have a whole ranking tier because I mean that'd be a lot of work. You do your own math, you do your own ranking system with this video. I don't know, but again, this is just an idea. Again, I'm not hoping this would go to like Tony Khan or, you know, the higher ups of AEW, because I'm just a fan of the product who just wants better for it, you know. But anyway, moving on from rosters, here's some of the championships I would have. For AEW Dynamite, I would have the world title, obviously, the one Samoa Joe has. The International Championship, the World Tag Team Championship, and you have the women's, I forgot the name, hold on, and the AEW Women's World Championship. That's the name. I'm looking at it right now. Now, how I would book the champions for this roster, I think it'd go the following. I would keep Joe as my champion. I would keep Toni Storm as my Women's World Champion. Why did I name it that? Why couldn't it be like World Women's? I guess it makes sense now that I think of it. And, you know, to spice things up, have the Undisputed Kingdom take some gold. I would have Roderick Strong as my international champion, and then have Wardlow and then Kyle Fletcher as my, or no, Kyle Fletcher and the other, I forgot his name. Fuck. I would have them be their AEW Dynamite's tag team champions. Now with Collision, it's different because you have the Continental title and you also have the TBS title. Again, most people could say, "Oh, easy! I'm gonna write the world title. I'm gonna make a new world title, and I'm gonna keep the TNT and the Continental Championship." Fuck that. What I would do, I wouldn't make a world title. I would make the TBS Championship as my main title because Christian Cage has been carrying it so goddamn well that I think it should be a world title on its own for that company. So I'm keeping that. Again, this is fantasy. It's not real life. I would keep it as my fantasy world title. I would keep the Continental Champion that Eddie Kingston has. I would keep that as a mid-carder title. The World Trios Championship, that'd be something they could chase for. Now it is debatable. Would Tony Khan make a tag team title for that show if, you know, there were to be a brand split? maybe. But knowing him, he probably would. But in this case, I would just keep a World Trios Championship. And then you got the TBS Championship for the women. Now for champions, I would say, since I'm giving it the world title treatment, I would keep it on Christian Cage, have him continue that reign. For the Continental, Eddie Kingston, I think he's been doing a good job on it. Now for the World Trios, I would keep Bullet Club Gold as my champions. I wouldn't put it on anyone else but them. Maybe House of Black. Then for TBS, keep it on Julia Hart. Yeah, those would be my titles on this brand split that I made that I think AEW desperately needs. Now for the AEW ranking system, now that I got the championships and the roster covered for this, how I would book AEW, if you want the sports feel, what I would do for the ranking system for the men's, women's tag teams, I would have, Tony Khan and the Khan family owns the Jacksonville Jaguars. We all know that. I mean, that's the only reason why they don't have a Jacksonville Jaguars belt in the WWE shop. But what I would do is I would go the NFL route if you want a sports presentation type of deal going on. What I would do is I would have your number one contenders, you have your on the hunts, and you have your wild cards. You want each match to feel important. Now, I'm not saying, not have rivalries. You could go with this whole New Japan style that they were going for in the Continental Classic and have rankings matter while also involving storylines. You could build rivalries off of good storylines. We've all seen that. But you could also build good rivalries with rankings. You could make things matter as to, oh, I'm number 4 and I want your number 3 spot because, I want to get that title. Stuff like that makes those rankings give a damn. And you also want wins to matter. So that's the route how I would go with the ranking system, with this roster that I built for you or for everyone. Just giving you an idea. In the championships, you want to make everything matter because AEW has a lot of talent. They have a lot of good talent. They have a lot of good titles, but they're just not utilizing them well. I mean, what do I know? I'm just a fan of AEW. I just want the company to be good. I want that sports field to actually be worth a damn. And so I feel like this video, this idea that I've had for a while, for the whole day, I just hope it opens people's eyes a little bit. Because I'm not gonna say that AEW is bad. No, it is. Some episodes, matches are good, but what's the reason? Why are you booking matches? Are you booking matches just cause, or are you just booking matches because you want people to invest into a storyline? Now, I'm not saying every match should be a storyline, but if you're gonna have a ranking system, you want to have everything matter at this point. So, just a train of thought for y'all. You guys enjoy. Like, subscribe, follow, comment for more. If you guys like these ideas, these wrestling topics, these hot takes, again, this channel is only starting, so I'm only pumping out ideas and content that I have. Whatever works, that works. What doesn't work, cool. Anywho, this is Poppy Liger signing out. And